this is why we hate.
We're gonna have a conversation. Fam, the heat wave has been ridiculous, bro.
May I tell you?
This is like on the only days that we got some kind of relief, alive.
That's what I'm saying. This is the only day that's a little bit chill, you know?
Like, I've been walking over here to the studio over the last, like, let's say, week, and I can't even stop to talk to nobody. Like, I get stopped on the street sometimes, right? You know, we got a little notoriety out here, right? I'm already recording. Like, I start free flowing.
Okay, cool.
You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I get stopped sometimes, right?
Right.
But when I'm fucking sweating like a mother, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't even want to like be like, I want, respect, thanks, you know, good looking out. But like, I'm hideous. Don't look at me. I'm just
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much, yeah.
Yo, fam. Okay, let's start it straight up. Because, you know, sometimes like when people are listening in the listening audience,
right,
I get into conversations and they're like, yo, who the fuck are you talking to, fam? Like, can you introduce the thing? So I have the pleasure to be sitting here with this gentleman, and I've known you probably like 20 years now,
yeah,
fam?
man, we kind of came up, you know what I mean? Like, we know each other from way, way, way back.
Yeah.
And we just recently reconnected, which is crazy.
Yo, okay. Before we get into like the intro, can we talk about our reconnection? Like, where were we at that party? It was for like the reunion.
Juno, it was the reunion. It was the Juno rap brunch. Mm-hmm. Shout out to DJ Mel Boogie and everybody that organized that. It was for all the current nominees and the past nominees who've been in the rap category for the Junos. So it was crazy because everybody who had a Juno before, who got a new nomination, everybody was there. And it was crazy, man. I mean, it was just a blessing to all reconnect. And that's where I saw you.
Yeah. And it's like, it was a place where all the who's of the industry link up, right? Like, or got to link up. And, you know, you are one of the who's who of the industry, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with no further ado, for the people who are in the listening audience who are like, okay, I don't know this person's voice, but I feel like something interesting is about to happen right here. And for the people in the viewing audience, you know, they're already like, alive. Yo, you got him in the building? Okay. So we have a legend in the building, a sound legend, more than just a DJ, a producer, an artist, a curator, an A&R. I could say
everything, yeah.
Yeah, because like bringing records together and putting the right pieces together, that's artist and repertoire work. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, so with no further ado, we have the legendary DJ Power in the mother effing building.
What up?
Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here, man. Finally, we made it happen.
Yo, where are you coming from, fam? I know you be jet setting. You always got a plane ticket and the passport stamp. So where are you coming from before you got over here to the 6?
I did a Europe tour, actually.
Okay.
So I did Croatia, Fresh Island Fest in Croatia.
Wow.
Which was crazy. It was supposed to be Skilly Bang and what else was there? I forget who else, the whole lineup, but it was a crazy lineup. They had like 3 days of festival on the Pag Island, which is an island, which is like, it's basically like an Ibiza, but it's in Croatia, but it's crazy. I did France. We did the Cannes Lyon Festival. I saw Charlemagne over there. A bunch of people were over there for that. So I did that. And then we also did the UK, where I got a chance to be in the lab with one of Burna Boy's songwriters, Randy Valentine.
Nice.
I'm working on my EP project, so we're in the lab cooking up some stuff over there. So the UK was dope as well.
Yeah. And then you came down for Caravana Weekend.
Yes, I came down for Caravana Weekend. I did like a couple festivals. I did the Six Island Festival, so shout out to Macamill and all them. We did that at Phoenix. That was crazy packed. And then I did the Cultureland, the Burna Boy show on Saturday.
Okay.
Did that one, yeah.
So even like before I even get to whatever I have on the page, you mentioned Burna Boy twice, so you guys have a good connection.
We connected like a few years ago. We're not close. I've just met him briefly. We connected in Croatia for Fresh Island Fest a few years back. That's when he was with Steflon, so she was there with him and she performed and he performed. Crazy show. The guy's energy is crazy, man. Crazy show. So we connected there, and then he came to Toronto for this show. So it was amazing. The show in Toronto was good. 2-hour show. He did a good job, killed it.
And you got an ashtray right there for you too, brother. How was your Caravana weekend, fam? Because like, it's the first time in 2 years that Caravana, everybody's been back outside, right?
Yeah.
That means all of the DJs, everybody are back outside too, doing events like you just mentioned with the Phoenix. But like, how did it feel being back here in Toronto, Caravana on?
Yo, let me tell you, like this weekend, the Caravana weekend was crazy. Like you said, it hasn't been on in 3 years? So everybody was just amped. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't feel like we had maybe as much people cross the border as normal, but it was just insane. Like, the parties were crazy. So much, and there's new events too, because a lot of people say, you know what? It's been 3 years. This is my chance to launch something. So everybody's trying to do something new.
Mm-hmm.
So you had so much different events going on. But I think it went really good, man. Like, I have to say, like, it was a really good weekend. I know you went hard. I'm sure you went.
I did not, man. I went hard on the work, on the editing work, and the content game, because true say, like, I don't want to get into but like, we had a YouTube strike, so we couldn't post no fucking content for a week. I was hurting that weekend, bro. But it ain't about me. What about, before we get into like your history and stuff like that, right?
Right.
I just want to stay on the events for a second, because you're a man of the people you're around. Were you involved in Culture Fest? Like, were you hired to DJ in Culture Fest?
I was hired to DJ in Culture Fest.
What was going on?
The thing about it is, Culture Fest was put together, I think, by a few promoters.
Okay.
And one of them is a good friend of mine from Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So he flew in to help with the show, but so he actually was the one who recommended I come on the show. So it was dope. It was really dope. I mean, there were some issues, of course. People didn't get in on time, and some things that happened. And especially the second day, there was issues.
Yeah.
But the first day, the Burner Boy, I can say that show was crazy.
That was lit. And we know each other, like we were talking about in the beginning, like probably going on 30 years, right?
Like 20, probably. Well, I don't know where we probably met at the radio station.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
probably met at the radio station.
89.5.
Yeah, 89.5.
Right?
Yeah, that's where I got my start. 89.5, the Master Plan show.
Yeah.
Shout out to that. And then I moved to Flow. Flow, and then I had to relocate to Brooklyn because my CDs and my remixes were popping off. So,
yeah. So can we talk about that time? Because I remember when you were around, and I used to see you around all the time. You were doing parties, you were doing all this stuff, and then all of a sudden you disappeared.
Right.
But but when I did see you, because we did reconnect at least one more time, or two more times between this time now.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that I'm in New York, I'm doing my thing. How did it go from you DJing around here to that happening? Okay,
well, just a brief history. I started out in the hood, like basement parties. That's where I really got my start. Places like Jungle, and did some stuff on Jane Street, and a lot of different places in the West End.
And you grew up in the West End?
Yeah, I grew up in the West End.
Yeah.
So basement parties, those kind of things were where I really got my start. And remix it, and that's how I developed my remix style, because I would mix hip hop with dancehall.
Okay.
I would take a dancehall acapella, reggae acapella, and put it with a hip hop beat, or I do like the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I maintained in those parties, because it was a mix of dancehall, but they wanted some hip hop. So I would remix it, and that's kind of how I made my name. So when I started doing it, I started doing the CDs, the mix CDs, and doing those same remixes on the mix CDs. And then that's kind of how the mix CDs kind of spread to New York and different places all over the world. And so I knew I had to take advantage. And that's why I moved to New York, because I was already back and forth DJing there. CDs were bubbling there. So it just made sense to relocate, because, the CDs were blowing up there, and I won a mixtape award in New York. So I was like, yo, let me take advantage of this.
So you're talking about the Justo mixtape award?
Yeah, Justo's mixtape award.
Holy.
Yeah. I won that mixtape award in New York for the Reggae Meets Hip Hop. As part of the Soul Controllers.
Yes.
That was when I was part of the Soul Controllers. So we won that. And then I just stayed there, man. Stayed there and just launched my own CDs. That's DJ Power. CD with Vybz Kartel, CD with Junior Reid,
Mhm.
CD, Reggae Meets Hip Hop remix CDs. And those CDs really made my name.
Yeah.
It allowed me to connect with these artists and produce tracks for them and get some of these remixes I was doing on the radio on Hot 97 in New York and some of the other stations. So that's kind of how I'm kind of a little brief history of how I came up,
We don't have to keep it brief. I want to know a little bit more, like from back even before you started like attaining success and like even like knowing yourself as a DJ, right? Like, was your name always DJ Power?
My name was always DJ Power.
Why?
From the beginning. That was it. It was two reasons. More of a street name because I was small, smaller, but at the same time, when it comes to things, I handled things, you know what I mean? So it's like power,
Yeah.
When shit went down, power is I'm a powerful person, but it was also, my father was an activist, still is, like they run a different bookless cultural center, shout out to them.
Okay.
So active in like, anti-Black racism and like, things like that and helping to push that, how when the police shoot somebody, like they're there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So growing up in that power is also like the fist, like the power symbol.
Mm-hmm. And
so
I'm thinking
it was both.
And not to interrupt you, I'm thinking this is like early 90s when everybody was really in that Afrocentric style and stuff like that.
Right,
African medallions.
Like I can't remember, but around there, yeah. People were into like, you know what I mean? And I kind of grew up in that too, so it was just easy to like have that name. It's a powerful name, a powerful person,
Yeah. Did you have, I know a lot of DJs, they all, a big percentage of them learned from another DJ. Like most of the famous DJs, I hear DJ Envy talk about Clue was his guy.
Right.
People always talk about like, rest in peace to K-Slade.
K-Slade.
Right?
Yeah.
How a lot of DJs say, K-Slade showed me how to use the turntables. Did you have somebody like that?
That showed me, not really somebody that showed me, but people that I looked up to for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a mentor that actually showed me. I kind of taught myself, but I would look up to people like Kid Capri, Jazzy Jeff, people like DJ Clue for the mixtapes, Who Kid, a lot of artists. I mean, a lot of DJs for sure. Even here, like, pick up to like the sound crews back in the day, like, what's the name? Chic Dynasty.
Okay.
Those people like that. Mastermind was on the radio, so I was listening to him.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Nelson.
Salute.
Just other DJs that came before me.
Yeah.
And like you would look up to. You know what I mean?
How'd you get your first set of tables?
This is a funny story about my turntable. I'm gonna tell you guys this crazy story. So I won them in a DJ. I started DJing when I was 12 years old, right? I did like family parties and stuff like that. But then I started actually producing music when I was 14. So
Whoa.
Yeah. I started producing music when I was 14.
Okay.
I had a little Casio keyboard, started producing at that time, right?
Sick.
So it was kind of like a child prodigy. Could DJ, produce. So I did some of my first records, produced. They ended up on the radio, as a kid, like just producing these records. And then, and so the DJ competition, I was 16. I won a pair of turntables in this DJ comp. This shout out to 105.5.
Okay.
CHRY. So I won the competition. I won these turntables. And like, I was so like happy with these turntables. I had them in the house, playing music up, bothering my parents. Everybody was like, yo, turn that down. But I was in the living room like every day. And then one day I get a knock at the door. And it was like in the middle of the day when I'm really supposed to be at, for some reason I wasn't out at school. Like I was just home. Got a knock at the door and this guy's just like, oh, sorry, wrong house. Next day I go to school. Next day I come, turntable's gone.
Oh,
man, they broke in my house, took my turntables. So I asked my brethren at the time, my brethren E, like, cause he had invited, cause it was like, my house was like an open, like people would come, come use the studio. Like it was just one of them houses, that everybody pulls up on.
Yeah.
So one of my brethren had brought some people but you still had to know me properly to come. It wasn't just like random people coming.
It wasn't open support.
Yeah, it wasn't open like that.
Yeah,
you had to know, you had to be a friend of a friend, right? Mm-hmm. So my brethren let some people in one day, and I was like, yo, it's gotta be them people because you don't know them that good. So we did this research and try to, just call around, try to find out who had some new turntables, all this. So we found out this guy in Oakwood and Vaughn had the turntables. So we went by the spot and we set up some fake meeting like, we just want to, we need a new DJ for this crew. We wanted to, some bullshit. I forget what it was, but we went by the crib.
Y'all were wild young at the times too.
For some reason he didn't see me because I hid with the hood on. Mm-hmm. Let us in, went downstairs to the living room, and he didn't even know it was me yet. And then I looked at the turntable and he had painted one of them red.
Oh,
he was trying to. So, this man had the turntables. I looked at the turn. I said, these are my turntables. And I'm walking out with these turntables, right? And the whole family was in the living room, whatever. Like, I'm just saying, you're not going to make it. We're just going to walk out.
Yeah.
So we grabbed the turntables. We walked up. But then his pops caught, like, when something was going on. So he came outside and he was like, what's going on? Like, he making like, what's going on here? And my brethren, he opened his jacket and showed him it is what it is. And we taking these home.
Yeah,
It is what it is, man. So we got them turntables back on some real crazy investigation, street shit. So
West End stories.
Yeah, West End stories. So we got them turntables back. And then one of mine was painted red, and that's the full story.
Oh, the red turntable story.
And the crazy shit is one of them ended up coming to Jungle because we had those rap-offs going on.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up coming there one day because I guess he just didn't realize little kids were chasing that dude out. Like, they grabbed him. Mm-hmm. Like, the whole community came together. Was like, we'll find this guy. Like, grab him up.
Yeah.
Give him some two-tump. Fuck him up, Because, like, that's, like, real shit. Like, that's, people understand, like, the value of those things. Like, that's your life. We don't play with somebody's life like that.
No, but fam, like, you got to understand also, like, if you weren't able to win those, you wouldn't have got those.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got those if I didn't win them.
You're not like you would have been like, well, I would have just bought them anyway. Like, nah. Man them in the hood, bro.
Man them have to work. So,
yeah.
That was your life at the time.
So even like growing up in the hood and stuff like that, like back in the days, what would you say would be the biggest parties that you DJ'd back then?
Some of the biggest parties starting out was definitely, I would say there was hip hop parties like at Kensington. Shout to DJ X. He used to do these hip hop parties.
Yeah, salute X.
Live at the barbecue.
Yeah.
Shout to there's a bunch of parties. Then shout to Ill Kids too, because they used to do those pancake parties. Mm-hmm. Those were crazy. Shout to Ricky Juice. Those parties were crazy too. And then just hood parties, man, like barbecues. Those are the crazy parties. And then JD's on Eglinton, we used to do the Caravan. I think it was the Kiddies Carnival when it was on Eglinton.
Yeah.
Right in front of JD, set up the big sound.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was crazy. I think Drake used to pull up there too. Back
then.
It was a crazy like outdoor party like in the street.
Mm-hmm.
So shout to JD's,
JD's connections, yo.
Yeah.
Even like back then when I used to see you guys at the radio station, like you guys had the soul controllers with DTS and
right.
Right? How did that crew start, right? And wasn't it it was Motion that was on the mic, no? On your radio show?
Yeah, on the radio Motion, shout to Motion. She was on the mic. And John Browski, big up John Browski.
Yeah, man. So how did that collective start? Like pre-radio show to Soul Controllers and then getting into that radio show space? That you guys had your own weekly show.
It was really Motion, because Motion had the link and she just brought me on. We didn't know John and DTS.
Mm-hmm.
They got another link through another way, and they said, we'll alternate. You guys take one Saturday, these guys will take another.
Right.
And we just decided to come together because it made more sense. So that's how it really came together. So shout to Motion. Mm-hmm. She's the one who linked that up.
Yeah, that was some really good times around those times too, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like hip hop radio in general, like really helped to build And shout out to, all the states. Shout out to 105. Shout out to CKL 88.1. Shout out to when they had Project Bounce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All them, like the radio for hip hop radio was like, that's like makes really what made the city at the time, like playing all them artists that, you never would have heard of, So everybody, I got to shout out everybody that did their part,
Yeah. No, like there's a lot of artists that people got to hear for the first time and through all of those college radio shows, as well as Project Bounce, like you mentioned. You know what I mean? Artists like Chaos were first breaking through those places. Drake, all those people first breaking through that.
I'm with so many of them, man. Like, I don't even want to start naming names. It gets crazy.
Yeah, like this is not mainstream radio.
So many artists got their push from the commercial radio. And then when I got hired at Flow for the 1 year I was there, I tried to push that, that content through, you know what I mean? The people like In Essence and all them people that had records.
Yeah.
That needed that push. You know what I mean? That's where I came in to give that, that push for the hip hop.
Yeah, for the people that don't know what's going on the street level and stuff.
Right.
So even like with that, and this is some jewels for people who are up and coming DJs and stuff like that, right? You were able to transition from college radio and like the more underground scene to getting a job over at Flow prior to moving on to like doing a whole bunch of other shit. Yeah. So can you give some people like a little bit of like gems on how to even get inside of a corporate office like Flow? Because that's not just like
that was I'm gonna be honest, that was really hard because the first part was getting my name out there, which was really, to be honest, doing those CDs. Because at that time I wasn't getting in the clubs. They weren't letting me DJ in the clubs because the music I was playing was more the hard street stuff, right? And at the same time, those clubs, they didn't really want that at that time. Now you can play your trap, you can play whatever, but at that time they didn't want that hardcore street hip hop because they said it attracted that crowd. Yeah. And they didn't want that crowd in some of those clubs downtown, especially a lot of them. So I wasn't really getting the club dates, but I wanted to make sure that, to kind of balance that, what I did was put out the CDs. Because the CDs made me, if you can't hear me in the club, you're going to hear me outside the club, straight up. When you come outside, all them cars is going to be bumping DJ Power, Soul Controller CDs. You know what I mean? Like those CDs, it's like, you ain't letting me in, so I'm going to make sure that I'm heard.
Yeah, get your name out there.
That's basically it. So that was a way to get it out there at the time was CDs. So I made sure them CDs had all these crazy remixes. They had exclusives that nobody would drop and just different stuff that made it stand out. So it was all about the quality of them CDs. And that's how I kind of bust with the name. And then to get into the radio, that was through JWise. So big up JWise because he got the job on Flow 935. And he was like, he had DJ X with him. And then DJ X was like, I'm going to go to another station. I think it was Kiss 92.
I remember that.
Yeah. So then JWise dropped from me and said, yo, you wanna come on the show and replace him? So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was a good year it only lasted a year that we were together on there, but I was able to push as many records, through and then do what I did. And then after that, that's when I left for New York because they fired me from that show because, it's radio politics. They have new program directors, stuff like that. So when they did that, I was already back and forth to New York. So the only thing holding me was the radio. So I was like, okay, the radio's done. Now I can officially leave instead of going back and forth and doing all that. I just said, let me just relocate permanently and move there.
So what was it like when, actually, before I ask that, right? I was watching an interview with DJ Envy on Queen's Flip, on Flip the Script.
Yeah, Queen's Flip.
Right? Yeah. Did you see that interview?
No, I didn't see that one.
Check it out. Very dope. It salutes to Queen's Flip. And he was talking about how he always stood out from the other DJs because like he was more flashy and stuff like that. Like a lot of people wanted to like test him because of that, but like he was stood out from the DJs because usually DJs, and not to diss any DJs and stuff like that, but like they just wear a lot of like merch that they get, and just, you know what I mean? Just not really like up on the drip and the fashion and all that type of stuff, right?
Exactly.
But from time when I seen you, you were always like, you had your drip down. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of like stood out. You paid attention to your look as a DJ.
Right.
Has that always been a thing? And why? If it has been a thing,
more happened naturally because People you want to make sure you look good, right? If you're performing in front of people, you want to make sure, you look right? So
Right.
I think it more happened like that. And then I developed my own style. And because I never followed what everybody else was doing. I was never a follower. So I was always like, all right, you wearing, whatever J's or whatever you want to wear, then I'm going to wear something different. I'm going to get an exclusive line, or I'm going to wear, just something different. Because I feel like you got to have your own style. You got to represent yourself. And that makes people see that you're a leader, right? You don't follow the trend. You make the trend. You set the trend. So that's what it is,
Yeah. So right away, it actually starts making you stand out from, and again, no disrespect to any of the DJs out there, because I have mad DJ brethrens, right? But usually, mans are just they don't really give a fuck about their gear or how they look. They just go and do their thing, head down,
it's
don't
image,
get on the mic more times.
Image is important.
Yeah.
People have to realize image is important, because that's how what people see of you is that, right? So
yeah.
You got to make sure you're on point with it.
And you're on a stage because you're elevated above the crowd. Everybody can see you playing the records, right?
Right, exactly.
What about the production side? You started getting into that, putting out products.
Yeah, I started.
So what got you into that?
Just after time, you would do remix. I would produce songs for other artists or do remixes, and you realize that you gotta set up your own company, set up your own label. So that's how I did that at an early age, and just said, this is it. And I had a good mentorship. I got to shout out Vybz Kartel from Hot 97.
Okay.
He was really one of my mentors in the business of showing me, taking me around all the different stores in New York. This is where you got to make sure your stuff is, or taking me showing me how the flyer game, the promotion game, teaching me all those things that I learned that I brought into my company, and it's just the business sense and how you treat people, how you don't answer your phone. You don't need to ghost people. If you don't want to deal with them, just say, yo, I don't want to deal. Be straight up.
Yeah.
Don't be yeah, call me tomorrow, and then they call you tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't even need to do that. Just tell them straight up. Because it's important, because those same people, one day you might need them. Right now, you may think you're on this level, but the music business is like this. Yeah. It's not just straight up and you just go, nah, it doesn't work like that.
No, there's peaks and valleys,
You have to be humble, because you need everybody. It's not, DJ Power is not a one-man show. DJ Power is a brand. DJ Power is a company. DJ Power has a lot of people that's involved in this brand. Yeah. It's not just one person. It can never be one person. You know what I mean? So you have to look at it. Everybody needs each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The mailman, the whatever. We all need each other. So you can't look at it like, I do this, so that means I'm better than you. Because this is how I've been able to make so many connections and relationships, have good friends in this business all over the world, because you just don't care what you do. You don't care what I do. You just connect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And let's work.
Yeah. Putting all the pieces together.
Right.
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? And when did you link up with Sean Paul?
Sean Paul, in New York, because when I'm in New York, most of the artists come through a lot to different events, and they do their press release, their launch. You know what I mean? So I developed a good relationship at an early age, especially Sean Paul's manager and his hype man. Yeah. Brand New Machine, Steve Urchin. And I shout out to Fahrenheit, his MC. So we developed, when I would go to Jamaica, I'd be hanging out with them, stuff like that. And when they came to New York or Toronto, we hang out. So just from a long time, and people respect what I was doing in the business in terms of remixing and producing, right? So, So people respect that. They want to link and bring them to a different, my always thing was take something and bring them to a different market. So I was always remixing stuff. So if you're in the dance hall or you're in this genre, let me take where you are and bring you to another market. So I'm going to remix you with another artist.
Yeah.
Like we did the Why I'm Hot record, the Mims one.
Yeah.
Junior Reid, Baby Sham. That came together by just, my mix CDs were bubbling. And me and Junior Reid, I did a remix for his One Blood with Game. And that was playing on Hot 97.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were playing it hard on Hot 97. So he heard it. He was like, yo, who did this remix? And shout to Collie B, DJ Collie B. He said, yo, Power did this remix. So he called me up on the phone. He said, yo, I got Junior Reid here in the studio. He likes your remix. And I said, yo, we talked. And I said, yo, let's link up the next day and work on this mix CD. So he came by my studio. At the time I had my studio was in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn.
Right.
He came by and then we started working on the Why I'm Hot mix CD.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, yo, you should jump on this Mims record. He said, all right, cool. Give it to me. Give me the beat.
Yeah.
Give me the track. And then I saw Mims at the DigiWax office. And me and him were talking. I'm like, yo, I'm working on this mix CD with Junior Reid. I told him to jump on your record. He's like, yo, that's a dope idea.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, Junior Reid went to Miami, linked up with some of the producers there, and he jumped on his verse.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing you know, Baby Sham came on it, and the rest is history. That record went crazy. Like, it's still playing till today.
Yeah.
That's how that remix came together, and that was my hand in that, putting on that record. And even Beyonce actually used it for part of her tour. She used that record. So that record,
that's crazy.
Went crazy. So shout out to Junior Reid, Baby Sham, Mims, everybody involved in that record.
Yeah.
Blackout, Dizzy, everybody.
Even with that, right? You're doing remixes. You're like, you're getting it played on the radio. You're linking it. You're putting out mixtapes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was there a good relationship or sometimes bad relationship with the labels? Because sometimes they can get heated, like, yo, where you get that from, fam?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes there's back and forth, but you do what you got to do. This is how I eat. So, come get me. You know what I mean? Like, catch me if you can. This is what it is, because at the end of the day, that's how we got to eat. You know what I mean? You want us to push your records, so we got to put it on the CDs and sell these CDs.
Yeah.
And they cracked down on that, and then the game was over.
That's what I was just about to ask. The whole DJ drama, that happened when the feds came down on him and a few other DJs, and then the whole mixtape train stopped. How did that affect you?
Game was over. We were making good money.
I would imagine.
We were caking people. But that game just ended, and then see, you couldn't even buy. We could buy them, but they were so cheap, it didn't even make sense to do it anymore. Yeah. So the whole game just went. I think it was it was some federal agency. I don't know what it was, but they just cracked down on everybody, people. Raiding people's homes.
Fam, it was the FBI. Luckily, it was the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It was them, man.
Yeah, it was them, man.
Yeah, the big boys.
The big boys, the federales. So they came and luckily they never caught me. So I was good. But still, it hurt the whole industry, So shout out to all the mixtape DJs that made it. Who Kid, big up, everybody that did it.
So did that push you more in the direction of making records, like making official records, around that time?
Yeah, that pushed me more into the records and just the touring. You know what I mean? I focused hard on that. Mm-hmm. So I produced around that time. I did some records with Vybz Kartel. I did the one with the Marshall Montano, the Fly So High. Mm-hmm. That one did good. And I put Cardi on that one, so big up Cardi. And then what did we do? Then I did another record with Junior Reid, The Warriors. Mm-hmm. I did some remixes for Nicole from Pussycat Dolls.
Yeah. I know you're the Sure Swinger.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to say that name, but
but salute to her.
A couple records. Shout to Kanon, did some remixes for his The Waving Flag. Bunch of records, man. Kept it moving. Just kept it moving. Just still doing records. So train keeps going.
That's dope. And even I was looking through some of your press kit reel and different things like that. And you've been able to go all over the world, the UK, all over the place, right?
Right.
From turntables and just being able to put, make the crowd go wild and make good music. You know what I'm saying? What's one of the biggest places you ever DJ'd in?
I would say Australia, New Zealand. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. I've toured there maybe 3 times. That's crazy. India.
Nice.
Been there a couple of times. That place is insane. And some of the most amazing clubs in the world is actually in China. I went to China.
Really?
They have they're so far advanced over there. They're you're in the future over there. So.
Describe to me a backdrop of some place that you're yo, what am I playing in?
Even the buildings, you're looking at these buildings, you're yo, where am I? This is the future. This is they got little way skywalkways going from this building. It's crazy in the middle of the sky. The lights are crazy. it's clean over there. Like it's just, you know what I mean? They're far advanced.
Yeah.
So big up to China, man. They're doing it. Like if you ever get a chance, go to Shanghai.
Okay.
It's dope.
Okay.
Dope city.
I'll definitely put that in my notes of my things to do in the future.
For real.
You ever like, I'm thinking like some of the places that you DJ'd, you've probably seen some beautiful like scenery like in front of you, like besides like the crowd, like behind you, like there might be some palm trees, or you're like, this is fucking a dope place I'm DJing at. You want to know
the dopest place one of the dopest?
Yeah, please.
It's Hawaii, Honolulu, New Year's Eve. It's set up on like it's basically like a boardwalk, and it's right by the water. So they would set up outside stages all along the boardwalk. And then you're doing this party, and then like at midnight, fireworks, like crazy fireworks. Everybody's looking at fireworks. The music is blasting. You got people going crazy. And it's just like, and you could go to different stages and hear different, like, so if you like Latin music, you just go over there.
Yeah.
If you like what I'm playing, you come see me. And it's one party, and it's just insane. And I got to big up Valinalo, who's here. He's videographer. He videos me when I'm in Hawaii.
Big up.
So you know what it is, man. It's one of the craziest spots. So if you ever get a chance, go to Honolulu.
Yeah. That sounds crazy, man. Yeah. And you mentioned the world boss Vybz Kartel, right? Can you give us any Vybz Kartel stories, man?
Yeah, for sure.
What's good, y'all? I hope y'all are enjoying this DJ Power interview and you're getting some gems from it. I'm watching it at the same time on my phone in real time, just like y'all. Make sure to share this video across all your social media platforms and hit that like button. We're going to be doing a giveaway when we hit 25,000 subscribers. Going to be giving away this cap right here, okay? We're also going to be giving away this jacket right here. Big salute to PK Herc handling our merch. We're going to be giving away this and a whole bunch of other stuff when we hit 25,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button and let's get back to the interview.
When I met Kartel, I got to shout out the Hot 97 truck and Bobby Condos they have the truck on Labor Day parade. So we'd be on the Labor Day truck, and there would be always every year they'd have different artists. So this year Kartel came on the truck. And this is going through Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn. And so at that time, I had one of my CDs had dropped, and I was remixing a lot of Kartel on that CD. So I would put Kartel with like a house music beat, or Kartel with like some crazy hip hop, like Dipset or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I gave him one of the CDs on the truck. I was like, yo, shit, here's one of the new CDs. So, and then the next day, he called and he was like, yo, we got to do something. He wanted to do a mix CD with me.
Nice.
So I went by the hotel. Usually when he used to come to New York, he would stay at the Holiday Inn by JFK. So I'd pull up there and we would record in the room, in the hotel room, a lot of that mixtape. So I would do a lot of the tracks with him. We record he gave me like so many. This is the hardest working artist I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
This man would come out with so much songs. Like just bang them out in one day. So we did that mix CD called Return of the Crime Minister, Vybz Kartel. And it was like all over a couple of days and just in a hotel room, we banged that out. And that came out, that went in the New York Times and stuff like that. And just being there with him and seeing how his work ethic is just so insane. And how he, like, you know that song, This Bad Man from Brooklyn. It's a crazy song that he did. He recorded that right there in that hotel room, and that's a big song to this day. And he just banged it out, like boom. Like his mind is crazy. Like, you know how they say he has an alien brain. For real, he has an alien brain.
So is he writing, or are you just seeing him just like come up with the stuff in his brain and just drop them on the beat?
He's just vibing to it, like, because he usually would have it on, like, he'd just be in his zone, either with headphones or without, but he'd just be like in his zone. Next thing you know, he's ready to record. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So he's not penning none of those fire fucking tunes that he's dropped
some
over
of
the
them
years?
pen, some of them not. Like, he's like, to me, and I don't want to get everybody, but this is my opinion, he's the greatest dancehall artist that, as ever. Because to me, he's like, it's just his pen. He's like the Jay-Z or Drake of dancehall. You know what I mean?
No, Power, that's not a hot take, fam.
Or
That
Lil Wayne.
No, for the dancehall community, there's another water right there. For the dancehall community, that ain't a hot take, fam. I've heard that multiple times.
Yeah, man. I know people gonna say this person, that person, but yo, I don't know anybody who comes up with them crazy ass lyrics and all the complex stuff that he be talking about. So, big up to Kartel, Free World Boss.
Yeah.
For real, man.
Yeah, man, Free World Boss. And even like with mentioning that, like he was able to like, he was still recording. He's still recording while he's inside.
Yeah, man.
Have you been able to be
doing his thing? We worked on a record I have out that just came out called Special Delivery. That's out now with Kartel, me and Kartel, and I got SL from the UK, big drill rapper from the UK. I got SL on it. I got No Joke Jigsaw from Toronto,
salute.
And then Skrilla from Brooklyn. So and Junior Reid, big up. So it's a crazy combination. That's out now, Special Delivery. But yeah, he's working, man. He's doing his thing.
So wait a minute, that was a new Vybz Kartel verse I was hearing?
That one was a
newer?
That I recorded from him from before.
Okay.
But you know, there'll be some other stuff. There's some other stuff that hasn't been released yet, you know?
Bro, I wish I had my sound effects loaded up so I could play that. Like, I'm gonna put an air horn on that right now.
Yeah, we should stop with those samples. We're gonna stop with those samples.
Holy fuck. That's crazy. Okay. Give me some obstacles that you may have encountered when things were changing from crates to the more digital space. Like when things were getting into the Serato and stuff like that. Or did you have any obstacles?
It's just a learning curve, man. Learning curve, like, think about it. Anybody who uses a computer for whatever, right? Like, there's always a learning curve. Whether you do graphics, whether you do whatever you do, they're always bringing out something new, and there's always that learning curve.
Yeah.
So just imagine going from like this to that. It's like, you gotta like take some time, man. And like everything new is sometimes, I'm the one that's like, I'm slow sometimes, but like, I like the more creative part of this music business, but I don't like the technical side where you got to know how to do this. You got to know how to, like, I like the creative side, thinking and creating the music. But the technical side is like a headache. So, oh, you got to have this. Oh no, you got to download this driver. No, you got to put this. Make sure you match it with this. It's like you got to be a computer nerd now.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
You got to be a
Serato
computer nerd, basically.
Yo, bro, like the amount of stuff that you probably had to like, the learning curve of making sure that you have a bunch of drives, like you mentioned, right? Knowing how to now start downloading your songs, where to find them, right? Because the DJ pools probably started drying up. They're not doing vinyl anymore. Right. But on the flip side, you don't have to carry a bunch of vinyl around anymore.
It's better on the flip side because you don't.
Right?
You know what I mean? So you could have like everything in there and you don't have to worry about nothing.
Yeah.
So I think, obviously in general, it's better, you know? You can travel the world and just bring it back.
Yeah, fam. Now you probably just have it like on you don't even have those big hard drives. You probably just have it on a stick.
It's all on the laptop, man.
Yeah, or a laptop with that much memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about DJ beef?
DJ what?
DJ beef. Like, do DJs have beef? Like, do y'all get petty with each other?
Yeah, DJs have beef, just like any other.
What does that look like?
It depends. Like, if it's live beef or if it's like just on some hating shit, don't put that guy on my flyer with me, or like behind the scenes shit. And there's a lot of like behind the scenes shit where people don't want to say directly to your face. And that's why I don't like. I'm a person, I'll say it to your face because I'm not going to be this person that's going to talk about you, say, don't put him on this and be behind it. No, I'm going to tell you, I don't like what you did.
Yeah.
And then it is going to be cool or it's not. But at the same time, it's better to be straight. You know what I mean? Because this fake shit, okay, I'll see you next week. And then behind the scene, you're calling that club. Nah, don't book him.
Yeah.
That's whack to me. That's so whack to me. Like, just keep it real, man. That's all I can say. That's my advice to you.
Keep it real. So that's the online, or not the online, but behind the scene.
But in public, I mean.
In a public, like let's say on stage, like our man's like
stage,
trying to run tunes before the next DJ gets there.
Yeah, the other night, like they do stuff like that. Play the tunes, try to burn you out. They can do stuff. Or one time this guy was like, you know, I was in the club with an artist playing, this happened the other day, playing a good set. And the man comes on and says, and I was playing some of the artist songs. Other DJs before me were playing some of the artist songs. And this guy comes on the mic, is like, yo, they didn't play no good none of your good songs. Yeah, like dissing the people that came before, like the other DJs. And I was like, yo, if this wasn't where we were, I'm like ready to grab the mic. Like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, don't diss me for like, that kind of weird shit. But it goes on, and you just gotta like deal with it. So you just gotta have thick skin,
What about even with Wiz Khalifa the other day, right? Like just to shift the conversation into a few more DJ type of topics, right? As a DJ who's been around the game and seen a lot of things. There was that whole thing with Wiz Khalifa the other day where he was mad at the DJ. He started screaming on him. He knocked his hat off and stuff like that. He ended up apologizing. Him, Envy, and DJ Drama got together on the Breakfast Club special and he apologized. Have you ever seen or had to deal with that type of stuff where like an artist is just acting way out of pocket with the DJs?
I've seen it. Lots of time. Have I ever dealt with it? I'm trying to think.
Like, yo, fam, like, I got you, but like, relax.
Yeah, I've dealt with it. I've dealt with it with Bounty Killer.
Wow.
I'll tell you a show about Bounty Killer. Like, a DJ from one time, it was a favor for somebody because he couldn't make it. He's like, yo, fill in for me.
Mm-hmm.
DJ this show. DJ for Bounty Killer. We got the tracks. It was just like, DJ killed the show. And then I came off stage. And this is the first time we had met because I didn't know Bounty Killer. Didn't know him at all. So after the show, we did it, killed it in the VIP. And he was talking to some girls. And I was like, yo, let's take a pic. And he just was like, nah, like, just like, kind of like this, like, that hand movement. Like, I was just like, what? And this is somebody you look up to because he's a legend, right? So you look up and you're like, really? Like, we just killed the show. Now you don't know me?
Yeah.
For what? Like, it doesn't really make sense. But, that was just a small episode, but big up to Killer same way.
No, big up.
Yeah, big up, man.
But even they say sometimes don't meet your heroes, or like, I'm not saying that you're the hero.
You look up to people, right?
Yeah.
It's business, like, and you don't know what they're really like in real life. And a lot of times, you could be like, it's like, man, that person,
yeah.
I thought this person would be cool. But a lot of artists are cool, man. Like, a lot of artists in the music business are cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool as fuck, like, some of them aren't, but it just depends, like, who you get, right?
For sure.
But you gotta handle it. You gotta respect yourself first, right? So
yeah,
just don't let them do that. Like, don't let them take advantage just because they think they're on a level.
Mm-hmm.
You still play your part too, right?
Yeah, don't let them knock you off your square. And even there was another thing that was like DJ related that popped up in like the whole entertainment world or social media world, right? With Conway the Machine, and he was. Did you see that when he was barking on Funk Flex?
Funk Flex, yes.
And he was saying that, when it comes to radio, you guys are gatekeepers, da-da-da-da-da-da. Do you think that's facts, fam?
He was I don't think he took the right approach, but there is obviously radio, like, people are selective, and even those DJs on the station, a lot of times they can't play what they want because they have to play by a playlist, or they give them, these are the songs we want you to mix.
Yeah.
So depending on what kind of station it is. So I can understand his, how he was frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he should have went about it that way just because that's not going to get you anywhere. You know what I mean? Well, maybe it did because Flex took attention to him.
Yeah, he responded.
At the same time, you never know. Like, but I guess he was just frustrated they wasn't playing him. But at the end of the day, the DJ plays what he likes or what he, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you kind of have to, like, you can't force somebody to play your music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I feel like you just got to keep grinding it out and getting those hits, because a lot of times the DJs are looking at what people are listening to. They're just basically looking at what other people are listening to, what they streaming, whatever. So they're going to play that stuff. If your stuff is not in that mix or even bumping for the club or the radio, then they feel like, all right, I'm not going to play it.
You're going to make the party go dull.
Huh?
You're going to make the party go dull.
Right, exactly. But sometimes you got to take risks and push good stuff. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should take risks, which is something I like to do a lot. Just in certain, like on the radio, just play something new and take risks. But when you're doing with commercial radio, it's all money oriented. So they don't want you to play too much stuff that, so it's kind of a hard balance,
Yeah. They're looking at metrics and stuff, how long the person is staying.
Exactly. How long that person is listening to that show. Are they tuning off after 30 seconds of him dropping this new track that nobody knows? You know what I mean? So it's just like...
It's a balancing act. And like, even to bring it home, we had like DJ Las Vegas, he be in the building sometimes, right?
Right.
Big up to Las Vegas. And he was having a rant. He was like, we gotta break records. DJs gotta break records. That's our responsibility. And nobody's breaking records in Toronto no more. Are DJs still breaking records, or is that like in the hands of the internet now?
It's a lot of hands of the internet, because records are streaming. Like an artist has a following, maybe more underground, but they could put out a record and within like a day that those streaming numbers are going crazy, and then people start Shazamming it and to start listening to it, and then before the DJ even has time to know that record is big, so then he's got to start playing it. So a lot of times it is the people, which is a good way, because the people can kind of dictate what we are, because based on what they like. But and the other side of it, which is bad, is that even though it is the people deciding, a lot of times it's controlled by these labels, because they're the ones putting those gatekeepers are putting those artists on those playlists. Mm-hmm. So they're putting maybe artists that aren't good, or they paid them off or whatever. They're putting them on those playlists.
Right.
So it is kind of a balance. Like they can make a record seem hot and make, you know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy the balance. But DJs, at the end of the day, I feel like you should listen to new music. You should be able to break things, but I don't think you can like cuss a DJ or whatever if he's playing, because at the end of the day, he's got to please that crowd in front of him. That's who spent the money. That's who paid to come in that club and see you. So if they want to hear, the majority of them want to hear this, so you got to cater to.
Yeah. Even like keeping it like back home, because he was more talking about Toronto stuff, right? Because a lot of times over here, we'll have parties where people are playing all of the hits from even the bands in Africa and stuff like that, Burner Boy and all the American stuff as usual.
Right.
But it's kind of hard when it comes to playing the Toronto stuff, because there's a lot of politics involved and all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, we want to break the record, but if we play this record, then a man might come to the booth and be like, yo, turn that off.
Right. Well, I've heard DJs tell me that, those stories, that some people came to them and like told them, take that off, stop playing this or whatever. I mean, I just, I know it's like it's more to it, but it's more like affiliations and the area you're from and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it is hard, and maybe like that's why a lot of the DJs don't play it, because they don't even want to get involved in the politics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it hurts, because them artists should be getting played. Should be able to drop, burner bands. Should be able to drop, whoever, Doobie or whoever that's pop, you know what I mean? That out there that people want to hear. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, why should I be worried about it? This hood don't like it or that hood don't like it.
Yeah.
Good music,
The music is fire, but then a man might have a problem with it, and they're like in the booth with their hand in their jacket. You're like, I'm like, yo, the people are actually jamming to this, bro. Like, relax.
Right, exactly.
That sucks, fam.
Yeah, but so then it just just people just listen to it on their own time.
Yeah.
Which sense that you can't even play it, out there.
Yeah. What's something that you wish you knew back in the days that you know now from the experiences that you've had?
That's a good one. That is a real good one. I wish I sometimes not get sidetracked. You know what I mean? Like, because you kind of feel like, okay, let's say I'm working on this production, then you go over here, then you're like worrying about touring. Like it goes in stages. So I feel like if you kind of more had it streamlined, so you focus like on one more path first.
Yep.
And then, then you went into this. And then I think like if you focus more, streamline, then you'll get more done. As in terms of like some people just might be all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm a producer, but I do graphics, I do engineering, I do like all this different stuff.
Yeah.
And one thing is not, Because I feel like I always say to people, it's 1 to 2 things you could do. I feel like that's the amount you could do great.
You could do
Now,
really
the other
well.
things are just like mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You just like, let me have something else to do, but I can do this on the side.
Yeah.
But to be great at something, I feel that you have to focus and make that your, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's because when you start doing 2, 3, like I never got into the promoting game because I was always a DJ, a music producer. I feel like if I went to a third thing, okay, let me start promoting. It's like, nah, that's
too much.
That's not gonna be. I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm only going to do it halfway.
Mm-hmm.
And I always feel like you got to put 100% into what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to be great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As the saying goes, jack of all trade, master of none.
None, exactly.
You know
so that's why the best advice I could give, you know what I mean? You want to be a label owner and then be an artist and then also it's hard, man.
Yeah.
Have people delegate. You know what I mean? Have people around you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a one-man army, it's a team. So
yeah, man. Last couple questions I have for you here. What do you think is one of your biggest accomplishments over the years, man?
Biggest accomplishments.
Because you've done a lot of stuff, bro.
A lot of stuff. I feel like staying real and keeping those relationships and just having that good energy, like not being salty about this and like hating on this because they're doing this. Like, I feel like when you bring that good vibes, it comes back to you. Mm-hmm. I think that's important because a lot of times we get worried about being jealous of this person or that, and this person got this look and I didn't get this look. But I feel like that is one thing that it keeps me going. It's just having that good attitude about, like, you know, just keep working with it. Maybe you might have had a bad experience with this artist. If you guys could come together again and make some magic, you know, try to make it happen. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe the vibe wasn't there, but always make sure that you're coming with that good energy. So at least you're bringing that, you know what I mean, to the table. And then the artist will want to work with you again. Like, you know, you keep that relationship. The artist will keep, you know what I mean? You guys will still keep working. Yeah.
What is DJ Power's ultimate goal? Like, when you're like, I'm ready to retire, is after you've checked that off your list?
That's a good question.
I be doing this, fam.
I've never thought about this, you know? That's so deep. Because I never thought about this. I feel like it's to leave a legacy of this person. You know, he gave so much to people, like whether it's good vibes, whether it's good energy, whether it's hearing something, because music has moods. Music can make you happy. Music can make you sad. Music can make you angry, whatever. But like, I want to be remembered that Power gave those vibes. He gave me that remix he did. Like, I still listen to that, or like that put me in a zone when I first heard that, or that song he did was, how do you think of to bring this artist with this artist, or those memories? I think it's moments.
Yeah.
It's moments. And if people can say DJ Power brought me moments, and you know what I mean? And also like a legacy, like, of just giving back to people, being a good person. I think, you know, like today I did this thing for, shout to the HNIC mentorship program. I went to see like about, 12 to 15 up and coming youths, like maybe from 13 to maybe, 19.
Okay.
And they were like trying to get in the music business and the film business. And I went and spoke to them and just stuff like that, just speaking to them, inspiring people, making them see that, he did it, or what's his problems. I talked about all my problems, everything that I went through, everything, from it was nenever easy. Like, it's not an easy road, but like, you just got to keep at it. You gotta stay consistent.
Yeah.
Don't worry about if your talent is not that great. There's plenty of rappers right now that their first song wasn't good. It was trash. Second song wasn't good. Trash. But then it kept getting better. You know what I mean? And some of them are big to today. So it's not about how talented you are at first, but if you're consistent with it and you got that talent, man, it's over. So the consistency, stay at it, stay on that grind.
Yeah. All the pieces will fall into place.
Right.
Yo, man, Power, man. I really appreciate having this conversation with you.
Yeah, man.
Like, I say that, I've been saying this over and over again. I don't like to do interviews. I like to have conversations and learn stuff about people in the process. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that we learned a lot about your upbringing in the game, the different things that you've learned and the different steps that you've taken. And I hope that the audience is able to take something from your story and then use that towards their own life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, for sure. And thank you for having me, of course, man. Big up. You know what I mean? Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, man.
And I just want to say, everybody catch me at DJ Power, DJ Power Music. Look out for new project. Oh, I got a new single.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to drop with While She Fire from Major Lazer. It's got Ayo and Teo on it.
Okay.
And it's got Ice Prince Zamani from Nigeria. So big up. It's called Birkin and sponsored by Belair Champagne. So shout out to everybody. Everybody that supports my work. Everybody that, I know from back in the day till now. Everybody that keeps supporting what I do. Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, man. Another one in the vault here, a legend in the building, DJ Power in the building. Thank you for this conversation once again. And for the people out there who are watching this, if you enjoyed this, make sure to comment below. Let the people know, share this. Let the people know that DJ Power was in the building and he gave some jewels for the people. And make sure to subscribe. Seen? Another episode of the We Love Hip Hop Network, and we are off of this. Deuces.
Bang.
Right? Man. Camera right here. Just finished the interview here.
That's dope.
DJ
That's
Power.
right there. That's all.
Yeah. How you feel about the interview,
Good,
man?
Interview was great. You know what I mean? Thank you for having me. The studio looks amazing. And I'll be back, man. The vibes was nice.
Yes, thank you.
Glad I got to tell my story with you.
Yo, much respect. DJ Power in the building.
Yeah.
We love hip hop.